TheInformer, we get a chance to talk technology. Women love tech, I keep hearing all the time. And the person who keeps reminding me is Robyn Foyster. Let's go via Zoom. Robyn, good morning. Welcome to TheInformer. And first up, there's so much technology, so many apps coming that we need to discuss them, because the thing that fascinates me is I'm even starting to get calls and they're saying, George, we're going to do a meditation app. Can you help us with it? I said, really? So we'll talk meditation in just a moment. But before we do that, let's go to the one that's making a lot of news, and that's Clubhouse.
Yeah, so Clubhouse, this is really exciting news this week, and that is that Clubhouse has only previously been available on iOS, so Apple, but now they've opened it up to all the Android users.
Okay, that makes sense.
It is growing like incredibly fast. And what's wonderful about it is that there's great stories about how farmers in Georgia, America, are meeting up through Clubhouse with farmers in Tanzania. And you've got filmmakers in India meeting up, you know, with people in Hollywood. And it's putting together these extraordinary communities who are basically sharing their knowledge and having a chat, and other people are able to listen to it, of course. So, you know, just for the listeners, the way that Clubhouse works is that you download the Clubhouse app and you join chat rooms, and you can only join if you have been invited. So that's, of course, that gets everyone going, doesn't it? Please invite me to Clubhouse, you know, I say. And it's had this sort of viral, it's completely gone viral with millions and millions of users
incredibly
fast, a bit like TikTok coming in and taking up the Snapchat
space.
I've
always been a great believer, Robyn, that goss is good. And people love gossip and love hearing all about things that are happening around them. And Clubhouse tends to do that very, very well. And the thing that fascinates me is what you were discussing earlier. This seems to me that we're seeing partnerships developing that ordinarily we wouldn't have access to. You know, Bollywood talking to Hollywood, are you kidding? You normally have No, first of all, you've got to get into the country to talk like that. But so this is fantastic. All right, so that's Clubhouse, which is currently making all the news, but it's again invite only.
Well, the other thing is to bring up about Clubhouse is that it really took off when it's the Elon Musk effect that made Clubhouse go crazy. Because he joined a chat room. And then basically just, you know, I listened to it, and it was like you listen to Elon. It's like being a sticky beak and earwigging on a private call. And I was like fascinated because he was talking about how he slept in his office because he worked through the night and things like that.
Well,
he needs to go on the meditation apps that we're going to talk about.
I was going to say, spot on. Clearly, he hasn't got a meditation app that, you know, works for him. And we're hearing that there are people like Ben Affleck, Matthew McConaughey, Matt Damon, anyone who's anyone in Hollywood who has something about them. They want them to put you to sleep.
Yeah. So look, so some of we've just done like the top 5 meditation apps. And one of the top ones that's sort of like it's a 5-star rating on Apple, which is pretty hard, is Headspace.
Headspace,
and that guides you through sort of like a mindfulness, you know, meditation. But they also bring in, you know, celebrities and the likes to do some of those incredible meditations. So you feel, you know, it's one of the, you feel, you know, like privileged because, you know, you're getting access to people you wouldn't normally get access to.
You're connected. What's Matthew McConaughey's favourite line? All right.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and I'm just into his book at the moment, talking about Matthew McConaughey. And I'm listening to it on Audible, another great app. Yeah. But it's his voice, you know, that is so amazing to, you know.
And he's a master. He's a great storyteller. So if you put a great storyteller and they have a voice that resonates, you can be in dreamland or any other land you want to be in a hurry.
Yeah. And actually, he has something in common with me, George, in that his parents, I think he has five, he comes from a family of five kids like me,
Yeah.
and his parents separated and got back together. And that was something that my parents were in a habit of doing, which is quite unusual, isn't it?
So they have a little time away, a little R&R, and then they come back together again.
Yeah, the good
That,
thing for us is that they used to take us overseas every time they got back together. We go, woohoo, they're splitting up again. Can we go to Greece next time?
oh, you guys worked that system beautifully. You mentioned Elon Musk. He's in the
Yeah.
middle of another interesting scenario. He's been very big on Bitcoin, and suddenly he's stopped, and Bitcoin is going through the floor. And I think it was cryptocurrencies at the moment are in that very fine space of, unless you really want to lose some money, don't go in there and take that bigger risk. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah.
Is that what you're hearing from all the sources that you normally relate to and listen to?
Well, the interesting thing is, I think this the Treasurer, the UK Treasurer, has just basically said, do not invest in Bitcoin unless you are willing to lose all your money.
Wow.
Because it's been the rich people who have been able to invest in Bitcoin and probably doing well. But the idea that your everyday investor, can just make a fortune from it now is, is really arguable, isn't it? And it's hard enough getting investment right anyway, but you really don't want, your people investing their super and, important money that they've taken a long time, unless they're doing it safely. And it's like, it could be just like sand in your hand falling through your hand.
Yeah. Not an image that pleases me or fascinates me in any way. The thing that bothers me terribly is that we're being bombarded on every bit of media that we have buy Bitcoin, chase cryptocurrency, do this, whether it's emails, whether it's SMSs. They're coming from everywhere. It's like there's a scam going on, which adds again to this distrust, we should be very wary.
Well, also, like, who understands how Bitcoin works and Ethereum works? Like, it's quite hard to wrap your head around it. And having said that, I do have to tell you, we just ran this story written by Mukibi and my family. It's written by my son, actually. And the headline is the 29-year-old, the podcast behind the crypto billionaire who plans to give his wealth away.
All right.
And the podcast it is called 80,000 Hours. And 80,000 Hours is an organization which is part of the effective altruism movement.
Yep.
So this crypto billionaire called Sam Bankman-Fried, he's estimated to be worth, like $8.7 billion by Forbes. I know.
They're numbers I don't know anything about.
Yeah, there's no accident to that, because he started his career with the explicit plan to actually earn as much as possible, to give as much as possible away to positive causes, like to make a positive impact.
So to be a difference maker for good, huh?
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting concept, the sort of effective altruism. It starts with this guy called Will McCaskill, who he's the founder of the podcast 80,000 Hours, and he's sort of one of the also founding figures of this altruistic movement. And I'm interested in him because, like, my son's got involved in that movement himself as a young, he's a student doing law at Sydney University, and he's, been the president of effective altruism and organised conferences for it. And so I asked him to write a podcast review for me about it. And so he wrote about this fellow, who is literally, a billionaire giving it away. And he's so young, he's under 30.
Well, it fascinates me because we have, of course, the Gates, who are now about to go into a divorce, but they've been very, very vocal, and they've also been very visible, giving away great amounts of their fortune, which is vast, and I mean money that very few people, if anybody, can spend in a lifetime. And that's going to be, and they're doing some tremendous good. So when you see the uber wealthy in a position like this to do real good, that is very special. There are also a lot of others, though, who aren't giving away anything and are contemplating taking it with them, actually, Robyn.
And isn't it good to see the young people saying, setting them apart and saying, well, this is the way to do it. We don't, we don't need so much money. And it sort of came about with, I think, Will McCaskill sort of asked a charity, would you prefer the money or would you prefer my volunteer time? Now, this is not taking anything away from volunteering, of course, but obviously, in many cases, the money is going to be more impactful. So it's all about how to be effective with your giving. And some people might be better to volunteer and some people might be better to actually part with their wealth to effective, causes to make the most amount of positive impact.
Yeah, that's a very good point. There are a lot of people who don't have the time to give, and they can give their money, and that makes a great deal of good. But there are others who have something about them, and when they volunteer, they can cut through red tape, they can actually access a part of this thing that we need that you can't buy with money. So you're right, there are two ways to do it, and it depends on the individual. But if you've got something special and you have a gift, then give it if you can. Yeah. Terrific.
Absolutely.
All right, Clubhouse. Now, book club. We haven't spoken about book club. Tell me about book club.
Okay, so this is an app called Book Clubs, which ends with a Z. So clubs is CLUBZ.
Oh, okay.
And I belong to a great book club, and we found that, like when we were organising it, we're constantly a million emails, just, I can come, I can't come, what book we're going to have this time, etc., etc. And someone said, there must be an app for this. So we went on the search for the app and we found book clubs. And what's great about it is that you can, you don't have to have the million emails. You just have to actually say if you're attending. You can actually put feedback, so it keeps a score of all the book, the verdicts of, your ratings. And we've just done the book this week, which I'd recommend everyone to read at some point in their life, called The Alchemist by Paul Coelho. Superb book. Have you read it, George?
No, I will, though. The Alchemist.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's about an Andalusian shepherd who sent off on a journey to, and it's sort of like a rite of passage as he tries, to get to Egypt to find the man that can turn things to gold. And along the way, of course, the treasure that he finds is actually the wisdom that he gains.
Robyn Foyster, as always, giving us insight about Clubhouse, book club with a Z, book clubs. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep.
That's a great app for anyone having a book club. I'd definitely recommend it.
Okay. The meditation apps. And Matthew McConaughey, if you can get it, do it. And stay away from cryptocurrency. That's what Robyn Foyster says. And I'm with you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Until next week.
Lovely, George. Thank you. Take care.
All the very best. Robyn Foyster, Women Love Tech, and she's right at the forefront.